Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, everybody. My name is Jay Scott, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Japanese artist sensation Katsuyo Aoki. I hope you enjoy the wonderful default graphics provided to us by Microsoft as we go through a brief PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to take a look at some work of hers from her webpage and the gallery they have set up there. So, Katsuyo Aoki, born in Tokyo, Japan in 1972. Here's a great picture of her working on a massive piece that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Interesting thing about her that I found is that there are so few pictures of her at work. For some reason, she just doesn't seem to like being in front of the camera, I guess. It's hard to find a lot of pictures of her, but those that are available are pretty cool, like this one. You can see her at work assembling a piece in her actually I think this was from the installation, so she's about to hang that up on the wall. Born in Tokyo in 72 trivia fact, 3 Lone Wolf and Cub movies came out on Japanese television in 1972, so 72 was a banner year for Japan. She has her BFA in painting, which she got in 1998, and her MFA in ceramics in 2000 from Tama Art University in Tokyo. She's been exhibited all around the world. Her website, which I'll link you guys to, has her CV with all of her exhibitions on it. She's exhibited very well all throughout the world. And her gallery, Jason Jacques' gallery, describes that she is the greatest living artist working in porcelain, which is tremendous. And once you see her work a little bit more, you may agree. I know I certainly do. Her works... the works that she creates now are exclusively in porcelain. They're highly detailed. She pulls from a wide variety of influences, including traditional Japanese ceramics, Japanese pop culture. She specifically cites anime and video games as big inspirations to her, and also Rococo paintings, which you'll see some of that influence as we continue looking at some of her artwork. She believes that her work incorporates allegories and stories from a lot of different cultures and kind of just places them all in one tight space. And that her works evoke an array of emotions from the viewer that mirrors the complexities of modern society. That's me paraphrasing her artist statement. From what I can see on her website, I don't believe that the translation from Japanese to English does well. Again, I'm going to link you guys to that so you can read some of her statements on her that she put there on her own. They're in Japanese. The translation to English doesn't do it well, but she certainly has a lot to say about her work, and she has a very dreamlike way in which she describes her work, and I think the translation doesn't do it justice. So if any of you speak Japanese well, I'd encourage you to go to her website in its native form. Contrast is a big part of her work. Lighting is huge in her work because almost everything is just exclusively in porcelain, and the installations have to reflect that. She has a major series called Predictive Dream, which we're about to look at, where the skull is featured primarily throughout, and also in a series called Trolldom, the skull is featured excuse me, as well, but in a different way, because Trolldom is a series of flat pieces, whereas Predictive Dream are a series of sculptures in the round. Important thing to note, all her work is done by hand, by herself, and her production time is significant, as you might imagine, but no factory work for her. So here we're looking at Trolldom 2015, which is a massive piece, 72 by 45 inches. It's huge, and I imagine it weighs a ton. It is obviously installed on a wall, clearly. Well, I mean, I guess you could lay it on the floor if you wanted to, but I don't think that's what she was going for. As you can see, the skull here is a centerpiece. Right in the middle, these porcelain tiles are assembled within this frame. The Rococo influence clearly on display here in the outlying features of the frame and of the piece here. We see more skull-like images installed here in the motif. Important to note that this is all, the frame at least, is all one piece. They're not pieces that were assembled later, apparently. Well, let me take that back. Obviously, they're separate pieces. You can see where they're joined together, but it's not like these skulls here were inserted. These were actually crafted into this piece here, and then the sides were built around it, and then the tiles inside. So you can get an idea of just the scope of her work and just how meticulous it is. We see a wide variety of texture and different organic shapes throughout here. And then, of course, the highlight of the piece inside the frame, we have the skull, we have the insects, we have birds. And we have a real contrast of life and death, and using just one color, like this traditional blue, which is associated with Amari ware, which I learned a little bit about this week. She uses value throughout to create a lot of contrast, really highlighting the skull, highlighting the flowers through here, and the floral motif really comes to light. Tremendous piece, huge, like I said, and in the website that I'm going to link you guys to, if you want to take a look at it when it was installed, the installation is amazing. As I mentioned earlier, how light is so significant. This image was taken, and obviously it's lit from here, a harsh light here. We have shadow, but the light is not very striking. Against a black background or against even a blue background, this would be almost a completely different piece. So that's a huge part of the display. And the installation, when it was unveiled, I think obviously in 2015, I can't remember the name of the show off the top of my head. It looks amazing. So here we see something different. It's Predictive Dream. Again, now we have a black background, and this is a totally white piece. Predictive Dream is the name of the series. They're all skulls like this. And again, all one piece, all done by the artist herself. We don't have the floral pattern, obviously, like we saw. I'm going to go back to Trolldom real quick, where we have birds, we have flowers and everything that, adorn the skulls here. In Predictive Dream, we have just the skull itself. There's a sculpture on the round. It's not huge, slightly larger, or I should say much larger than the average human head, because that was an interesting statistic I looked up, as the size of a human head. This is much larger and much more ornate. Again, the organic features we have through here look random, but they're really not. There's symmetry, but it's not exact. If you pull a straight edge or a ruler out, you can see like these lines are not, they're imperfect, which I think is something she wanted to include in her work to show that it's not machine made, it's not artificial, it is organic, which is something she likes to show in all her work, is the organic nature of everything. And again, we have no color here. It's all porcelain. It's all traditional porcelain done in that way. No pigment added, so lighting is so important. We see here this picture taken on all black, lit from the top, and we can see the gradual change in light throughout the piece, which lets us see just how volumetric it is and how much depth is created inside all of the individual pieces, and the curvature throughout just adds to that. It's just a striking picture, but looks completely different on a white background, which we'll show you in a little bit. Last thing we're going to look at here is another piece called The Void, where we have a crown, as we can see here. A lot of influence, again, from the Rococo period. We see just an incredible array of shapes and curls and designs and texture applied throughout. We got like what reminiscent of pearls through here. And we have obviously the crown piece. I won't get into any phallic associations here. Maybe something there. I might be reaching with that. But you have also here on the top of the crown piece, you have these little figures that are all peering out. Again, it's a very regal design. It's very intricate. And from her own statement, she likes to say that her work is hybridization of ancient culture with the westernization of modern times. And again, we have the crown, which is a symbol in both Eastern and Western cultures. But this piece was created in traditionally Eastern manner, but heavily influenced by Western art because of, like I mentioned before, the Rococo, and the real Gilded Age influence of how ornate the piece is and how intricately it's been designed. As our assignment is to talk about how traditional artists have incorporated Western themes into their work. I think The Void is probably one of the best examples of that, because she has used Eastern tradition and Eastern methods to create something heavily influenced by the West. So I think it's really good for that. We're going to take a quick departure because I just want to show you guys her official website. And we're going to go there super quick. And I just wanted to show you guys, here's another of the Predictive Dream series. Again, the frontal view here, again, it's a skull motif. It's unique, it's organic. We have that in another one, the same thing. And I want to show you guys just an array of how these look. From the side, you can see this is Predictive Dream 23. It almost looks like something different. It's reminiscent of a skull. Like if a skull were laying down, here'd be the jawbone. Here's the back of the head, and here's almost like a crown, or some sort of other signifying feature. And then from the front, you can see, wow, that's very skull-like. It's almost like, there's no way to deny what that is. So you see that, and then just showing you guys quickly on a white background. Here's Predictive Dream 22, which, again, designed just like the rest, all porcelain, very skull-like here. It's almost like a Damien Hirst piece, but with a white background. Now we see the shadow inside. We see, just how deep and how intricate it goes inside the piece. We're really getting an idea of what volume is created inside. And Predictive Dream 24, kind of the same thing. We've got a medium gray light. It's coming from two different directions, so we're seeing an even wider array of shadow inside here. Well, I'm reaching my time because I can babble on forever about this. I'm going to upload this, and also if you want to check out any further reading on her or Amariware, we have that here. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.